Take a look at this tweet by Israeli correspondent Barak Ravid. Hamas rejects Israel's proposal for a partial Gaza hostage deal and stresses it is ready to release hostages in return for release of Palestinian prisoners and an end to the war.
Hamas has rejected an Israeli proposal for a 6-week ceasefire in exchange for the release of half of the Israeli hostages and the group's disarmament.
Basically, Israel broke the ceasefire, changed the terms of the original agreement, and then offered Hamas a newer, shittier deal that is impossible for them to accept.
A senior Palestinian official familiar with the talks, led by the Hamas's chief negotiator in Cairo, has told the BBC that the Israeli proposal relayed to the movement through Egypt and explicitly called for the disarmament of Hamas without any Israeli commitment to end the war or withdraw from Gaza. Hamas therefore rejected the offer in its entirety. The official accused Israel of stalling for time, seeking only to retrieve the hostages while prolonging the war, a position Hamas finds unacceptable.
Which tells you that their intention is to drag this genocide out as long as possible. So how did we get here? Let's recap. In January of this year, Israel and Hamas agreed to a ceasefire. It was shaky, but that's how it usually is between Hamas and Israel. But with Trump coming to office and demanding an end to the war, it seemed like this ceasefire might actually hold. The agreement was a 3-phase deal that started with the exchanging of Palestinian prisoners for Israeli hostages, the withdrawal of Israeli troops, and the lifting of the blockade on Gaza that starved 2 million people of food and medical supplies.
The third and final phase would start on April 12th. Although the details of the second and third phase are expected to be hashed out during phase 1, this is when bodies of the remaining hostages would be returned, and the launch of a major 3 to 5 year reconstruction plan for Gaza.
At the end of phase 1, there was to be a final agreement that would extend the ceasefire and eventually end the genocide completely and allow for phases 2 and 3 to continue without issue. During this time, however, Israel purchased a ton of weapons from the US.
Shipment of heavy US bombs arrives in Israel as Secretary of State Marco Rubio begins his first visit to the country as Washington's top diplomat.
So to many, it was clear that behind the scenes, they were actually resupplying for another attack on Gaza. And that phase 1 of the ceasefire was actually just a temporary ploy to buy time. After about 6 weeks, the first phase of the ceasefire officially came to an end, with Israel refusing to abide by the original agreement and continue on to phase 2, which essentially confirmed people's suspicions. Israel changed the deal entirely and demanded that Hamas agree to new items, including their full dismantlement and capitulation. Of course, Hamas rejected this and will likely continue to reject it, as they insist that the resistance can never lay down their arms.
There appears to be no end to the nightmare in the Gaza Strip for the Palestinians. There is more escalating violence and there's a deepening humanitarian crisis, which is what has defined the enclave, with hopes of peace repeatedly being shot down by Israel.
So Israel escalated their bombings of Gaza, which have now taken the lives of nearly 2,000 people, with 1/3 of them being children.
We have looked into 36 of these. What we found was indeed very shocking, that all the victims, all the fatalities that we managed to document were those of women and children.
A total of 50,933 people have been killed and 116,045 people wounded since the start of the war in October 2023. These are just the direct deaths. Indirect deaths could be at least a few 100,000. On Friday, Ravina Shamdasani, a spokeswoman for the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, reported that 36 of the 224 documented Israeli strikes in Gaza between March 18th and April 9th involved killings of women and children. In a statement, the Palestinian human rights group Al-Haq said the findings by the UN further confirmed a pattern it previously identified. Quote, "Such a calculated effort to exterminate women, boys, girls, and even infants has not been witnessed in any other modern conflict," Al-Haq said in a post on social media. In an interview with Al Jazeera's Up Front, UN Agency for Palestinian Refugees Chief Philippe Lazzarini described the situation in Gaza as a post-apocalyptic killing zone. Speaking at the Antalya Diplomacy Forum in Turkey on Friday, Lazzarini also reiterated that Israel has been preventing the entry of food, fuel, medicine, and other vital humanitarian supplies into Gaza since early March, contravening international law. In a separate post on X on Saturday, UNRWA Director of Communications Julia Tuma warned that all basic supplies are running out in Gaza. It means babies, children, are going to bed hungry. Israel has pledged to press on with its military offensive, with officials in recent days outlining plans to seize new swaths of territory in southern Gaza and issuing a series of forced displacement orders. Quote, Palestinians do not know where to go, Khudri said, after the latest Israeli orders on Saturday for Shuja'iyya and Khan Yunis. According to UNRWA, some 400,000 Palestinians have been forcibly displaced across Gaza since the fragile ceasefire that took effect in January collapsed almost a month ago. This is a catastrophe the likes of which the world has never seen before and will be remembered as a stain on the human experience. Now, if you're looking to remember exactly what happened on October 7th, go to my X account and watch the video I have pinned on my profile. I uploaded it here to YouTube long ago, but it was removed and I received a strike against my channel. So go to X and give it a watch and let me know what you think. Will Gaza finally have a ceasefire? Is Israel deliberately extending the genocide? Why won't Trump stop Israel? Let me hear it in the comment section. Before you go, remember to subscribe to this channel for more geopolitical deep dives and propaganda debunking. If you like what I do, you can support my work at propandco.com, where you can become a paid member and gain access to exclusive behind-the-scenes content, explainer videos, and podcasts with your favorite guests. Thanks for watching, and take care of yourselves.
Trust nothing. No lies.